In this video, we'll be taking you through a quick demonstration of the MetricStream regulatory change management application for high-performing organizations. A user experience that's engaging, efficient, and personalized to help you to strengthen and simplify regulatory change management. This application allows you to manage the entire life cycle of actions and steps that you need to take in order to respond to events that are happening within your landscape, whether these are new regulations that are being created by regulators or existing regulations that are being modified, or just events that are happening within your business. So the application provides frameworks to allow you to route these alerts from different channels. These could be regulatory bodies or news feeds and so on, and intelligently forward these alerts to people depending on business rules that could be set up and predefined at the outset, or allowing people to manually subscribe to these alerts and look at the information about something that's being changed. There are frameworks within the application to allow you to initiate a set of actions. So you have the option to notify people through an email. You have the option to create a regulatory development project and conduct an impact analysis and send out the alert to different stakeholders in different lines of business and allow them to provide guidance around the impact on their line of business. And there's also an option to send out a survey to collect a broader set of data from different stakeholders. And there are options and frameworks to allow you to manage any actions and tasks that need to be completed, log any findings and issues in case remedial actions need to be taken because there's a gap in a certain control or gap in policies. So various actions can be documented and there are workflows to automate this entire process. There are also dashboards and reports that allow you to look at key trends, allow you to get an overall sense of the lines of businesses that are impacted, the objectives that are impacted, processes and functions that are impacted, and allows you to drill down into the details behind these metrics. So that's a quick snapshot of what the application offers. And what I'm going to do next is log into the application in a couple of different roles to show you how you can have partitioned access into the application and how within different roles you'll be able to work and engage within the application. Now I'm going to log into the application in one of the roles, in this case the role of a regulatory compliance officer. Now this is the login page of the application. It's a web-based application, so username, password in a browser is what you need. And we support integration with single sign-on systems so that you can seamlessly get into the application. Typically, there are multiple roles within the application, like regulatory compliance officer or an executive, regulatory coordinators, subject matter experts, line of business users, and so on. Depending on the role that you're mapped to, you'd have access to different options within the application. In the role of a regulatory compliance officer, you'd be able to monitor key metrics around the program, including tracking information about the business units that are impacted by these changes and the ability to drill down into the details behind it. So you can look at the alerts that were triggered and look at the assessments and the workflows that were initiated. You also have the option to export the data and dump it into a PDF file or CSV file, or share this information with key stakeholders through an email. For end users, there are options to package the information in different pages. So you have an overview page that provides a quick summary of the key metrics, including metrics about the number of regulatory development projects that have been initiated. You also have information about the issues that have been initiated in order to remedy your internal processes, build controls, for example, or update your policies and so on. There's a status page that allows you to get a quick snapshot of workflows and allows you to see the different workflows that can be managed within the application, workflows around your regulatory development project or workflows around issues and actions and surveys and so on. The next role that I'm going to log in would be that of a regulatory coordinator. This could be somebody in a region or a line of business and somebody who's responsible for looking at these alerts that get generated from different sources and initiating a set of internal actions to respond to these changes. So this user has access to regulatory alerts. As you're looking at the alerts, you have options to initiate a set of actions on these alerts. And this could be as simple as notifying people through emails about this alert and forwarding the details around the alert to these individuals. Or it could be linking the alert to various risks and processes and functions and policies and so on, so that you can get a sense of the dimensions within the organization that would be impacted. And then people who are responsible for those processes and functions and so on can act on it. Or you could initiate a regulatory development project and assign the alert to different people for review and allow people to provide guidance on the impact of the alert on their businesses. As you're reviewing these alerts, you have the option of looking up additional information through frameworks in the platform that allows you to get access to additional context. So I can do a mouse over on an alert and look at the regulations it's been linked to and the processes it impacts and so on. And I can display that information in a data explorer that allows us to visually look at the relationships and pick one of the related data sets, like a process, for example, and bring it into focus. And for that process, look at the objectives that can potentially be compromised if that process gets adversely impacted, and the policies that you have in place in order to implement the nuances of that process. And again, if you want to come back to the main page, you have an option to get back quickly to that main page. So that's how you can look at alerts, you can refresh the information, you can switch between different views to look at the alert from different perspectives. There are also pages that allow you to look at various regulatory development projects that have been initiated and look at the ratings of these changes across the different projects that you've initiated, or initiate an impact analysis survey for some of these alerts, essentially creating your questionnaires and sending out the questionnaire to different stakeholders within the business and your organization to collect information about how that alert, for example, and that change impacts the operations of that process or that organization. So those options can be initiated from here, and you have reports that allow you to look at the audit trail and the responses and the details of information that's been provided. You also have the ability to look at regulatory tasks that can be created as a part of different projects and the status of these tasks, how many of them are open, how many of them are closed. So again, these are the different options that are enabled within the application. Here's how I can initiate a downstream workflow for performing an impact analysis on the alert and sending it through a series of reviews and approvals in order to get feedback from different stakeholders, and also send it out for an assessment by different lines of businesses that could potentially be impacted. So here's how within the application you can look at the key details around the alerts, indicate whether it's applicable to your organization, provide some guidance around your criticality, classify it, provide some color about who needs to perform an assessment, attach any files and supporting documentations, and initiate the workflow. As a part of the workflow, tasks get assigned to people, and this could be an alert that somebody needs to review and assess, like the one that you're seeing out here, and I can grab these tasks from my inbox, my task inbox, which can be accessed through an icon at the top, or I could navigate to this from emails that are being generated from the application. Within context of a task, I'll have the ability to capture additional details around the alert. I'll be able to define a sequence of reviews and approvals, which can be configured easily by end users to take this alert and move it through appropriate stakeholders for review, or conduct an analysis on the kinds of risks that we'd be exposed to and the impact and the likelihood of these risks. Link that alert to processes and functions and products that can be impacted, essentially providing the business context around the change. What elements and aspects of the business would be negatively or positively or just impacted by this particular mandate that is, or this event and this change. And allowing you to create linkages with additional information. As a part of the overall process of completing tasks, you have an option to define a set of actions that needs to be taken and assigning these out to key people. Or you can create findings around gaps and observations and again assign them out to people. So that's a quick snapshot of the regulatory change management application. Hope this was useful. Thank you for your time.